This is Igbo Area TV.
Hello. Someday the truth will be known by all. If you thought oil was discovered in Nigeria in 1959, you could pass your high school economics with that info. It was discovered 50 years earlier. Do you know that oil from the territory was sold for almost 50 years before the approach of independence in 1960 forced the disclosure of oilbery by Britain? Even at that, the quantities were concealed from the newly independent Nigerian governments until the counter-coup of July 1966, when the North packed their baggage to head back north in the famous Araba Putsch. The then British High Commissioner to Nigeria, of course, on the promptings and directions of his home government, zoomed in upon Gowon halfway and prevailed on him to reverse the decision of moving the North out of Nigeria at a time Gowon already hoisted the Arewa flag in a temporary capital, Ilorin. In the hurry to announce this reversal, the Gowon speech that was originally designed to take out the North was poorly edited, leaving a portion that should have been expunged and so distorting the concluding part from the body of the speech. That unexpunged portion is the celebrated Gowonian Foxpaw, in which he on one breath declared that, everything considered, the basis of Nigeria's unity was no more. Yet going ahead in the next breath to proclaim that to keep Nigeria one is a task that must be done. It was in the heat of the Araba Northern secession move that the British whispered into the ears of fledgling Gowon government the huge quantities of oil that eastern Nigeria would have if the North left and so would become the poor neighbor of the South, particularly eastern Nigeria. In a series of dubious underhanded exchanges that followed rapidly, the British practically took over the handling of the crisis all the way to when it became war in July 1967 from Yakubu Gowon, who was overthrown in 1975 by his July 1966 comrade, Moletara Mohammed. In that dark period, Gowon signed off the entire oil gas reserves of eastern Nigeria to the British for 50 years, more or less contracting the war to Britain. The British, which held those concessions via shell, had to parcel out substantial blocks of their holdings to the other world powers and permanent members of the UN Security Council. Thus, the entire Gulf oil and Mobil, US, ELF, France, Egypt, Italy. Soviet Union had oil at home and so didn't need oil blocks. What Russia, that is USSR, got was an open order to supply the hardware for the war, including MiG jet fighters, Ilyushin battle tanks, AK-47 rifles, all at double of prevailing market price. This oil blocks bribe was the basis of the cooperation of the then world powers with Britain and northern Nigeria to kill 3.5 million Easterners in a simple self-determination dispute, substantially resolved in Aburi, January 1967. Back to the Wellings Commission. Could it be because of the special love the British had for the Niger Delta that the Commission recommended the preferential accelerated development of the area? Dead no. So much had been taken. The people would soon find out. The development was an upfront bribe and containment strategy to help calm would-be frayed nerves. Unfortunately, the North-led government that took over in 1960 from the British abandoned that proactive scheme, partly because the whole truth as to the quantities of crude oil and money involved was not disclosed to them by the British departing arrangers. Some of the findings of the LNC on reasons Isaac Boro and his Niger Delta People Volunteer Force. Yes, NDPVF did not begin with Asari. Okay, some of the reason they declared the defunct Niger Delta Republic had to do with the detail of British concealments, some of which are still in force. Those who are still in doubt should find out whether Shell was not headquartered in Owerri for 42 solid years up till 1960 in place still called Shell Camp to date, now broken into several large premises, including the Government House, Rockview Hotel, Alvan Ikoku College of Education, the Federal Medical Center, the Mobile Police Camp, and a number of other governmental institutions. It was Premier Michael Opara who bought the large premises of Shell in 1961 on behalf of the then Eastern region, after Shell moved to Port Harcourt in the dawn of this grand pretense at a distinct Niger Delta that had nothing to do with Igbo, which has now been confirmed by Junaid Mohammed when he charged at Jonathan with the rebuke that the Niger Delta was a creation of the North to manage its interests in Eastern Nigeria. Those who wish to interrogate this claim of 50 years oil sale before Oloibiri should get on SPDC website so they can see for themselves that it was in 1936 that a certain company called Shell DSC, which is Shell's predecessor, came under Crown regulation to pay more to the Crown, probably because of the impending Second World War. Prior to the time, Shell DSC had the same kind of charter as the Royal Niger Company, which later became USC Unilever. Those charters were issued about the same period at the turn of the 19th century, before Nigeria was created in 1914. Do the arithmetic, and everything that became our constitution took their roots from that main object to date. This article was shared by Michael Dixon. Thanks for listening to Igbo Area TV. Please subscribe to our channel for more updates. God bless you and bye for now.